All right, I'll just wait for some people to arrive. Apologies if you're watching this after when it's been recorded, but I'm going to give some people a chance to join before I start officially. Also just double check the stream. I think it's going. It worked last time. I got a better camera set up this time. And I'm also using this lapel mic, so hopefully I can move around freely. And there's no problems. Let's see. Okay, I didn't see it on my phone, but I don't trust that app anyway. Let me just pull this up. Bop. There we go. Yep, we're good. Oh, yep, there you are. Okay, should have just checked the chat tab. Hello. We're just gonna wait a minute before we actually get into it. I guess I can just kind of explain what's going on. So I have my USB N64 project. I have it connected up. I am gonna try to get it to work with some USB devices I have. I have this USB controller, which is kind of like a PlayStation 1 controller. So that'll be kind of fun, right? Use a PlayStation 1 controller for N64. But then I have this thing too, which is actually, it looks like an N64 controller, but it has a USB on the other end. So I'll be using that, which will be interesting. So, so yeah, let me just explain what I got up here on screen. Can I like add text? I could add text up here, so people, I don't have to explain it all the time. I'll see. Doing this live. I should have had this ready to go. The drawing tablet for N64, that would be interesting. Huh. I wonder if I could get it to work with just the USB adapter. I mean, the problem is you'd only be able to really send relative motion. It wouldn't be able to do anything with like absolute motion, unless you made a game specifically to do that. But then that would be a very niche audience. That is very big text. All right, N64 view. All right, so what I have over here, do I need to label everything? Again, I should have had this ready to go. PC view. Whatever. I'm done. I'll just keep that. Okay, let's just get started. All right, so I have over here, I've pulled up the MP Lab where I can actually run. So I've already installed the latest software I have on the device. I actually have been writing a lot of code, but not testing any of it. Well, not testing any of it on real hardware. Instead, I wrote some automated tests that I could run on my computer, so that way I'd be able to do development with just my laptop, because it's a bit of a pain to development where I need the programmer connected to a device. The device needs a power source, and it just ended up being a lot simpler to just do the automated tests. But now, you know, those aren't perfectly representative. But here goes nothing. I'm just going to try it. So I just need to hold the button down for 3 seconds. 2, 3. I don't think I gave some sort of visual indication of when it's waiting for input, but I believe it's up, down, left, right, A, B. I don't remember the order that I did this in. It's in this source files. I put it in the source files here. Hit input mapping. Here we are. Okay. A, B, and then the C buttons, up, down, left, right, the D-pad, up, down, left, right, and then I did left, right, Z, start. And if that worked, then I would be seeing inputs on the screen. Okay, so the inputs you're seeing on the N64 viewer, this is the actual N64 controller, but this one's not quite working. So, time to actually run this through a debugger. This is what I was expecting I need to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to drop a breakpoint in. I'm just going to close everything else. I'm not one of those people who can do lots of tabs all at once. I don't know if any of you are the kind of people who have tabs, like browser tabs open. I don't know. I feel overloaded very quickly. So, all right. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here. So this code here is what's monitoring the button input, and so if it tracks holding the button down. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Button if it's being held, if it's a certain amount of time passed. Oh, I just realized I just noticed one bug. I need to verify here. If it's the same. Oh, no, I'm checking the current button state. Okay. Forget that. Okay, so I'm going to put a breakpoint here, and let's just go for it. So, ideally, when I hold the button down for 3 seconds, it'll hit this breakpoint, and then we can see if it's actually triggering the state input here. I was hoping, okay, I might go back to trying to use this. This is a makey. I'm planning on getting this to work, so I'll be able to make a banana controller where you just have it's connected. I don't know if you've ever seen Beating Dark Souls with bananas or anything like that. It's using this, so I want to have the same thing. I just had it plugged in. Oh look, I already hit the breakpoint. I had it plugged in just a second ago, or just before stream, and it didn't. It seemed like there was a problem supplying enough power, so I switched to a different controller. But this is hitting a breakpoint. It really shouldn't be hitting the breakpoint unless. Oh, I think I have my button state inverted, and now that I'm thinking about it, so what I need to do. Is that right? I think. No, yeah, because the way I did it is the button state. The button's tied to ground when you push the button, I think. Well, I mean, that's an easy enough fix. So just to double check though. So current button state is 1. That means I just need to flip that. So I'm going to stop the debugger. I'm going to just throw a not in front of this and then run that again, since my logic was written the other way. I'm hoping that I get this working, and then I have a DDR pad, a USB DDR pad. I want to try playing a couple of games with it. But if I don't get it working tonight, then I won't be able to have a chance to do that. Debugger loading. All right, and I guess of the people watching, oh, I forgot to drop the breakpoint in. I think I have to push pause really quick, and then I'll be able to put the breakpoint in, and now I can run. Okay. So anyway, of the people watching, let me know if you think this is a worthwhile stream to do. I don't know. I figure if there are people who are really interested in getting down to the weeds of this, that you might be interested in watching the process. But if this just ends up being kind of not worth watching, we'll see. But I hold this for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. It should hit the breakpoint. Okay, not hitting the breakpoint. So it's probably not. Is it not reading the button state? That would be a problem if it wasn't. Okay, yeah, I can just I'll do it if there's people who have interest. So, let's push pause, and then I'm going to hold the button down and then put a breakpoint just right here. So current button state. Okay, so the current button state, is it just completely ignoring my button inputs? Okay, I need to figure out what's going on with the button. Hope it's not a hardware issue. I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna pipe this button state into the I'm gonna pipe the button state just into an LED, and that I hope I could repoint the camera. You can see what I'm messing with here. There's like a little. It's hard to see this thing right here. So that flashing LED is just showing that it's currently programming. I'll just point the camera back up. Oh, hear the dog. All right, so if I push the button. Okay, so no, the button inputs. Oh, weird. It's like, it seems like it occasionally returns like it's not being pressed. Something's wrong with my button. Do I have to just hold it hard? Oh no. Okay, if I hold it hard, I think it'll work. Okay. All right. I'm gonna rerun it with the debugger here, so I get feedback when it's actually triggered. Okay. Ignore the crazy dog. If you. All right. Somebody came to pick up some things off our porch, and so our dog thinks we're being robbed. Yeah. Yeah, you want to see? Oh, nope, she ran off. There you go. You want to see? There's the dog. Come here. Yep. Okay. Now go bark at something. All right, I'm gonna. Okay, I think it's running now, so I'm gonna hold the button down until 1, 2, 3. Cool. Hit the breakpoint. All right. So now, in theory, I can push this. I'm gonna put another breakpoint here when it's finished mapping, and let's try this one more time. So, up, down, left, right, A, B, the C buttons, the D-pad, that trigger, and start. All right, not working. So I'm curious what the state even is. I'm gonna come over here. See, I wrote automated tests that were supposed to catch all of this, so I can't put a break. I have to pause really quick. Yeah, I get 50 likes. Yeah, it's the cheat code. Breakdown, breakpoint. Each major. Yeah, I'm gonna try and breakpoint things that are supposed to be. Okay, supposed to be important here. All right. So it's not even. Is it even hitting that line? Hold up. I need to put a breakpoint here. Run. It should hit something. Okay, no, it hit that. Okay, so we hit this line. Let's step in. Let's step over. But I have a breakpoint in the function I'm stepping over, so it should hopefully hit it. Okay. I might be able to debug it no matter where I have it paused. So I think because I have a global variable where I'm storing the hid input mapping state. Clicked the wrong thing right here. Okay, it thinks it's the structure. There's a variable of the same name. All right, so if I add a new watch here, didn't find it. That's, oh, it might be a static variable, meaning it's not accessible on the global scope. I can change that though. Let me double check. Yeah, so I will make that globally accessible. That means I have to stop it and rerun. Okay, I'm going to remove all the breakpoints too. Well, I'll remove them as they get hit. Run that. My lack of notes. Oh yeah, like I don't comment my code. Yeah, I don't comment my code, and maybe I should, but all right. Okay, hit that. Let's put this in. So, oh wait, I'm gonna have to pause for the breakpoint to stick. If it's gonna pause, it took a little second. All right, press play. Hold this for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's been weeks. Yeah, I know. Yeah, who wrote this code? Yeah. Okay. Oh, interesting. I've hit this hit input mapping state. Shouldn't have hit that. Okay. I don't know if I triggered this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here we are. I'm going to just do a step over to see. It should hit the, yeah, so it's going to start mapping. All right. Continue. What was I going to check? I wanted to check that it was going to get any input. So the HID driver on update, let's see. We should be polling. Okay, interrupt finish, handle report. So I'm just going to put a breakpoint here. It should be, this should be getting data constantly. And if it's not, then it didn't load the driver correctly. Okay, I need to maybe see if it's even what the current state of the driver is. There might not be a driver loaded yet. Like, it may have rejected the device. Like, one reason it could reject the device, I want to limit it to only devices that draw under 100 milliamps. And if this doesn't, or for whatever reason it failed to parse like the report descriptor because I have a bug in my parser, then that could have failed. So let's drop a breakpoint in. You know what? I'm going to put a breakpoint into the USB. We're going to step through the full process of when the device gets connected, all the requests that it's sending. So that is going to be done in this function, USB update. So I'm going to where I have to make sure I removed my breakpoints. I think I have. Okay, so I'm going to put one in. I'm going to put a breakpoint here. Actually, I'm going to skip all of this. I'm pretty confident I'm getting past this. It's going to be the HID driver. Okay, so I'm paused. That's fine. It's going to be inside of the USB device update. This is what I care about. All right. So Okay, I just realized. Okay, no, this is fine. All right, so I'm going to push play. I'm going to unplug the device. I'm going to plug it in, and it should hit this breakpoint. Okay, so hit this breakpoint. So this is the first step of USB. It needs to assign an address. When you plug in a device, it starts with address 0 as a default, and so the driver is responsible for assigning it a new address. So that's what I do first. I think Windows drivers actually ask it to describe itself before it does that. I don't think it matters the order, but I don't expect this to be the problem, so I'm going to put a breakpoint in the next step and hit continue. So actually, this is it every time there's a loop that's just constantly checking USB, and every time it checks once. Oh, did it fail to set the address? Because I didn't hit the next bit, which I expect to hit. Let's just put a breakpoint on the current state here and see what we get. Oh, you want me to zoom in on the text? Yeah, sorry. I don't know how to zoom in on this IDE. View. I don't know if it'll let me. Sorry, yeah, and on mobile this is going to be completely unreadable. I mean, I could pull up VS Code. I can't debug in VS Code, which I really need to be doing. Okay. Yeah, the expansion port in the bottom of the disk drive. I've considered doing something like, I don't know, like, well, you could add like a modem or like a Wi-Fi or Ethernet, but then obviously no game could use it. So I don't know. You'd have to make software to use it, but then like if you're making the hardware then the software, and like at what point are you better off just, using a modern computer? I don't know. It'd still be kind of fun. I definitely want to. If I have to think of a cool idea to do with the expansion slot, I probably would do something. Okay, yeah. There's got to be a way to zoom in, right? Control plus window. It's not going to be up here, is it? Huh. It's going to be preferences. Let's see. Control up. No, that doesn't do it. Control Shift Alt. Oh, Alt. There we go. Wheel is a good idea. How is that? It's probably much more readable. Thank you for catching me on that. I am still learning to stream. All right. So it's paused here. We're going to come back to USB device right here. USB device. I'm going to put a breakpoint in the current state and see if it's still just even trying to set the address. Current state. This IDE is not very good. Oh, I have to zoom in again. Every window has a separate zoom level. All right. Can I zoom in down here? I can't zoom in the text down here. I just have to explain what I'm looking at. So the USB device state, it just says it's idle. Interesting. I'm going to put another breakpoint in here. Okay, where are all my breakpoints? I don't know. I'm just going to hit play. And then, oh, I probably want to stop this breakpoint. There we go. Push play. I'm going to unplug. Oh, okay, no. It was before I even unplugged it. It is trying to send. Okay, so it's failing to. It's failing to assign the device an address. I wonder if this is the same problem I was seeing before, where maybe there's something wrong with my power to the device. I have to pull out an oscilloscope, or at least a voltmeter. Was not wanting to do that. Okay. So if I come back to if I come to the request finish, so this is where it actually jumps to when I finish a request. There's one breakpoint resource available with the current debug tool setup. Okay, I feel like I have stray breakpoints I need to go clean up. Not sure which breakpoint it's going to hit. So it's going to hit the waiting for address again. I'm going to delete this breakpoint. I think I have some in main. Yeah, I'm going to remove that one and that one. Okay, maybe it'll stop complaining about my breakpoints. So I put one, so it stopped at that one. And then I'm going to put it, I should put it up here. So that way if there's an error, I can get the error. So the error, drum roll, packet error none. Okay. So that means in the current state is waiting address. So it should hit this state here. Or it should assign to the next state. Yeah, okay, so we've assigned it to the next state. So next time it should, okay, so it does get to this point. Waiting device description. I'm going to keep the breakpoint up here for the response. Continue. And no error. So that means the next thing it should do is start looking for device descriptors or configuration descriptors. I'm just going to assume this is actually going to reach this point here if I were to hit continue, because this has not been a problem before. Okay, so it's failing to... Oh, I wonder if my device descriptor, I wonder if my device class is not, maybe it's not what I expect. What's that font on? What font is that on the N64 debug view up here? I don't know. The one above my input viewer. That's frozen now. Oh wait, no, other controller. Okay, go. It's still responsive. I don't know. This is the default that was with it. I mean, I could check, but I'm not gonna, because I want to stay focused on this. Device. Okay, I was coming here. I want it to hit this, but I'm wondering if it's just never even getting past this. Although it would be saying the device is idling. That makes sense. I think it was showing as idling as kind of the error last time. So it might just be that the device class is not what I expect. And if that's the case, okay, waiting address. So we hit that breakpoint. I'm just going to hit play. No? That's a shame. What is going on? Pause. All right, I'm going to put the breakpoint up here again. That was a good spot for one. I'm going to hit play. Because, yeah, it'll tell me anytime a request finishes. There we go, it finished. And there's an error. BTOEF. I feel like I've been getting that error. I don't know what's wrong. Okay. What's the current state of the device? It is waiting for address. Okay, the fact that I was able to get past this before, what if I just put the breakpoint after the error? Because it's just going to keep retrying if it's failing. Is the device not getting enough power? That could be it. Didn't want to debug hardware problems. I was hoping this would only be a software stream. I guess I'll pull out my voltmeter and carefully probe. Okay. All right. Voltmeter, what do you say? Very carefully test that and that. 5 volts. It's getting enough volts. So that's not it. And it's under load right now, so I guess next could be the oscilloscope to check the signal line. I don't want to do that. And it's weird because it was working just a second ago. You all saw. I was able to get some responses back. Oh, there we go. Okay, there's a response. Okay. 1. That should be successfully set the address. We got the device descriptor. So if I were to, so current state, I'll just double check that. Waiting for device descriptor. So if I hit play, it should hit this breakpoint now. There we go. Okay. So device class. Let's find out what it is. Descriptor device class. So it null. Okay, so that should be device class here. So that worked. Is it just some like flaky hardware issue? If it is, I'm mad. All right, so that should have worked. So now it should start enumerating all of the search configuration. What code editor am I using? This is called MPLab. It is what Microchip distributes for programming their microcontrollers. I typically use VS Code for most of what I do, but I don't think there's a good way to use VS Code with their environment. I did manage to figure out how to make or how to build, but to actually use a debugger, I don't know. Yeah, I have to plugging it back in, right? Have you tried turning it off and on again? It's the way to do it. Okay, so we're gonna search configuration. So this is what I want to check next. Okay, so what this does with USB, so the actual device configuration can be arbitrary length, and so you don't know how long it is at first. You actually have to request it twice. So the first time you request it, you're just asked, you want to figure out how long it is, and so config here. How many things do I have watches for? Can I just delete them all? Delete all. Okay. So I want config. Just give me config. Just to pull that back out. Why is it not letting me see that? This is being slow. Okay, enter watch. Config, I want to see what it says. Okay, not letting me see. But either way, the total length should be greater than what I actually requested. So what I do next is I can reconfigure it so next time around the language, this is C. The language is C. Okay, so it had another success. Yeah, weird. It must be, I don't know. I don't know what. So search configuration. So this time around, if I come here, this is, okay, so I think this is where I'm assuming my bug, well, my bug might be here. So the configuration will contain information. It's gonna double check. Okay, yeah, it's gonna hit here. The configuration, this is what contains information about the device. So can use USB use configuration. I wish it would show me the config. I'm assuming if I were to do a step over here, this is probably gonna end up being false. Yeah. Okay. So because I don't want to debug through this slow setup here, I'm going to stop what I'm doing here. I'm going to even turn off the N64. So I'm going to open up VS Code, which is going to be a much better experience for coding. It's just what I'm used to. And we are going to do this a slightly different way. So I'm going to take this device here, and I'm going to plug it into my PC instead. And now I'll be able, yeah, dark mode, yeah. I'm just using the default, but I'm not actually that, I don't care too much. Let's see, so I want to code pick 18F2. I haven't done an 18F before. Control for a keyboard macro when I press a button. When are you getting that error? Is it when you're trying to compile code, or when you, or like do you have like you've connected a button to the microcontroller? That's not clear when you're getting that error. But in a second, I'm gonna show here you LSUSB. I should have there's a lot of devices plugged in right now. I've got my camera, microphones, variety of things. It's probably this one though, Dragonized Generic USB Joystick. So it is bus 5, device 14. So I can do LSUSB, restrict it to just that. I think that does it, yeah. And then I do verbose. And so now this will give me a much bigger description of what's going on here. I have, okay, so there are 2 endpoints. That shouldn't make a difference to me. I mean, that might be the bug, but all right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come here to my main test, and we're going to come to, so this is where I have defined a bunch of test data. I'm going to define another device descriptor, and I'm going to do endpoint 2. I'm not indexing the first one, but I don't want to rename it. So that way I'll have space to fit this one, because this one actually turns out to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to come back to my device descriptor. I'm going to define this new device. So I'm going to start here. Descriptor type. That already, see, oh, that's the wrong one. Descriptor type, I am off by 1. There we go. Total length 29, a number of interfaces 1, configuration value 1, I configuration 0, BM attributes bus powered 80, max power 500 milliamps. Well, that's the problem. I don't think I need to go any further. I know I am trying to limit devices to not draw over 100 milliamps. I would be surprised if this actually did draw that much current. That's quite a bit for just a joystick. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and remove that restriction in my code. And what I'm hoping to, if I actually turn this into a product, I'll just have actual current monitoring on the USB bus. So that way, if it ever goes above 100 milliamps, it can cut that off. Or because you don't want to draw too much power from the N64 power supply. I did look at the schematic. I was just curious to see, you know, if I were to overdraw, what would take damage, and it would be the power brick. So not great. I don't think I want to destroy anybody's power bricks, but that's better than the console getting fried. So let's see. Try to simulate your code at MP Lab. I have all the drivers and packages I need. So you suggest something for me to code a keyboard macro for simulation game. I'm not sure what that refers to. Are you trying to like make a PIC 18 behave like a keyboard, like it can be a USB device? I'm assuming that's what you mean. If that's the case, I mean, you're gonna have to simulate you're gonna have to respond to all of the queries that a device might want, like when it's enumerating and setting up. So you have to respond to all of that, and then you'd have to be sending the packets. I don't know. It's a lot to explain. I don't know if I can explain it very thoroughly without going in depth, and I don't want to get too sidetracked. So I'm sorry. I don't think I can go into too much detail about that. So I'm going to back out of this. Let's come back to this IDE. I was hoping to spend more time debugging in the other, but you know what? This is fine. But it also means I need to plug in this again. I need to turn on my N64. Hopefully that view pops back up. Cool. I'll just start the controller input viewer. Back to it. All right. So I'm just going to come to, there's this can use USB configuration. I have this line inside of the device descriptor right here. Okay. So I'm saying if that's saying it needs more power than I can provide, I exit out early. I'll just remove that line. And so now, hopefully, it gets past that. In fact, I'll just put a breakpoint in here now. I swear there's a place I could have viewed like listed breakpoints. Like I want to delete all of my breakpoints except I want to start fresh. Okay, here's one. All right, let's hope that's all of them. I'm gonna debug. If anybody's ever used MP Lab, you know, if I push this button and it has to re-upload every time, and I don't want to re-upload every time. I want to just assume that it has the correct program. Oh, maybe there's a drop-down arrow. Maybe there's a way to do that. I'll try that, but yes. Another solution for simulating keyboard. I don't know. I'm not an expert in hardware. I would consider. I mean, really, depending on what you need to do, you could just get an old keyboard, and then you just actually wire up something to bridge the keys you want to send. But of course, that's stupid. If you want to send just a few different keys and it works for your, but that's not very compact. It's really kind of a stupid solution. But yeah, actually simulating a HID device, I don't know. I don't know the best approach. I know the PIC microcontrollers do have that ability to be a device. I have not dove into that too deep, so I don't know what better alternatives there are. But here, let's try to plug this in. It should be ready to go. Plug that in. Okay, we hit this breakpoint. Okay, so now push play. We should hit this breakpoint if it succeeded in parsing the device. It did. Well, at least got to this point. It needs to have endpoint count 2. Perfect. Perfect. That's what we want to see. And then, okay. So I'm going to come back to, at this point then, can use configuration return true. So it's going to come to set configuration. And then after we do set configuration, after it succeeds at doing set configuration, it'll load the driver, which we haven't hit this point yet because of the power reporting. So, okay, so we set the driver. So now I can come back here. Let's zoom in again. Now I can set this breakpoint and listen for the key press or the long button press. So if I hold down the button on here for enough time, please. Is this working? The button's being very finicky. Okay, there we go. 2, 3, okay. I saw that flash. Okay, so now we should be starting the input mapping. Okay. Oh, actually, I want to drop a breakpoint in to this point where it says if it's finished or not. I also, here, you know what? I'm gonna put a breakpoint here, but I was getting too confident about just things working the first time. That was a mistake. So I am going to scroll up to the driver here when I report. Okay, yeah, handle report. Oh, the fact that that's not being hit is a bit of a problem. Oh, I should have checked here in the parsing the report. That was my mistake. Get report, because it's possible that if, okay, no, I'm going to come here to the update, the USB device update, and see what state this is currently in. Where did I find this USB controller? This was just on Amazon, I think. I got it a while ago. It's not very good. The joystick, the sensitivity, it's not very good. So I don't know if I'd recommend that one. Okay, driver state is still get report. So that would be part of the reason why this, okay, I'm glad I was checking this. Endpoints, okay, so we're going to endpoint index. I'm trying to remember what endpoint index should be right now. Device, endpoint, am I just scrolling right past it? Those driver endpoint index. Okay. Device data. Okay, I'm not going to have access to that though. All right. Either way, I'm going to put the breakpoint on this receive. Hopefully. And error invalid PID. Okay. That's a new one. Is it just going to keep getting that error? I'm wondering if I should switch to the Makey, because that was what I was testing with. Make a DDR pad. It's funny you say that, because ignore the loud noise. But I got this, which is a USB device. So in theory, once I get the USB device working, then I'll be able to use a DDR pad. I dropped my skateboard. Not a real skateboard. I'm not an actual skater, although I'm scratching on my walls. Oh crap. Don't mind me. Okay. There we are. Am I still alive? Still good? We're gonna unplug something back there. This is what fell. I want to make this work too. This has USB receiver. If you saw last stream, you'll know I struggled with that for a bit. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited to get this. Once I get this working in theory, then I'll be able to play with a variety of controllers like that. And there actually, surprisingly enough, there actually is a DDR game for Nintendo 64. It was only released in Japan, and well, you know, yeah, it's hard. It'd be hard to get the pads for it, but if I get this working, then the USB pad, which doesn't cost very much, you could just use that. So, okay, back to the same error over and over again. Okay, invalid PID. I'm trying to remember what that even means. PID is what, when a USB sends something, it has to... Okay, and I guess this get report, I don't think I didn't actually test this code yet. Not with real... Okay, no, that could do it then. Yep. So yep. Okay. So this, in my test code, I just assumed that this control transfer would have worked. So this is probably what's wrong. Invalid PID. I'm going to double check. I think that error is actually something that I enumerate when this, right here, return is invalid PID. Let me see. BCD PID. Okay. I might just ignore the error and see if it works anyway. But first, before I do that, I'm gonna... Can't remember where I was. I was in the HID driver. I was up here. Okay, yeah. So the data here, if I just 4 bytes unknown size, so the data is actually being dumped into descriptor buffer. Yeah. So if I just watch descriptor buffer, it will, will it let me, no, it's not going to let me view. I just want to see the contents of descriptor buffer, because it might just contain the report anyway. Yeah, I don't want to worry about the PID. That's fine. I just ignore it. Like because this is clearly, this PID stuff, this check here. I'll have to zoom in again. I always forget to zoom in. Sorry about that. I say is invalid PID. So next bits. So the next refers to, what does it refer to? It's been a while. USB buffer descriptor. Descript. Okay, so it is a volatile structure. I removed most of it. Okay, yeah, I had all this information. I see. Okay, so it has a PID when you return, and I just check. I might just delete the code and see what happens. Like the thing that's causing it to return an error. That, frankly, we'll see. I can't remember what the code's there for, so surely it's not important, right? Surely it doesn't do anything. So let's just do that then. Delete. We're gonna comment this out and see. I'm using Git, so all of my changes here. Ignore all of that. But so as I make these changes, like, you know, it's remembering it. So, you know, I could just be reckless and just throw caution to the wind and just delete stuff, and it remembers what I did. So move fast and break things, I guess. All right, I want to keep a breakpoint inside of the HID driver here on the response here. There we go. So that way, hopefully it just goes straight to that spot. The PID, so the PID refers to, so there's different kinds of packets you can send in USB. So so there's one of them's an in out packet. Shoot, I don't remember what they all are. There's one for setup. There's in out. I need to remember. Okay, just double check. See if error none. That's good. So when I come to here, if it was able to successfully parse the report descriptor, element count will be a non-zero value. Element count, just 1. That's not exactly what I expected, though. I expected more than 1 because an element describes some aspect of the input, and you need at least 1 for the buttons, and then at least another 1 for the joystick. And the fact that only 1 is showing up is concerning. I mean, I could maybe see elements here. So if I just look into elements, element 0, it says report ID 0. That's fine. Expect report ID. Don't remember what that's about. Okay, type absolute. That's going to be the joystick then. And it says there is, so it should be using the analog. Bit offset 0, that's fine, but bit size of 0 is wrong, and element count. Okay, so this clearly didn't work. So I'm going to come here to the okay, well no, here we're gonna jump into the VS Code land again, because no, actually the error about the PID might have been real. Well, that's helpful. Let's see. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna double check that it's not, that it actually is indeed getting the that I'm just gonna see what the data looks like here for parse report descriptor. Report. Okay, good. A character array. I'm surprised it even got to the end here, the output index. Like, I feel like I should have triggered an error at some point. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. It's probably just a bunch of like garbage data. So, because it's not actually getting my, it's not that the, it's not working. Well, this is bad. I was planning on recording a video about this Saturday, but if I can't get this working, that's not going to happen. So it'll have to get put off a little bit longer. Yeah, the PID. So yeah, PID here. Let me just Google what USB PIDs are. I don't know why I'm being so bad at remembering kind of what they. Okay. Oh, I see. So PID, VID. Oh, it could refer to more than one thing. So that would be the vendor and the, what would that be? Does it say a product ID? Vendor ID and product ID. Right. That makes sense. That would be getting confused. What this is USB packet PID. Let me show you. I didn't realize that was referred to. So this is actually the packet ID type. So there's 16 different types. In, out, SOF, that's like a heartbeat token. Setup token, that's right. That's what I send to say, hey, here's a token. Yeah. And then it's when I want to make a control transfer. So control transfer is like sending a command to configure the device or getting information about the device. And then data packets are to actually just send data. Acknowledge is what that's handled by the hardware, but it's just saying, yeah, this looks good. I received the data. And NAC is no, I did not get the data. Stall, I don't know what the rest of these really do, but that's what the PID is. That for some reason I'm getting an invalid one back. Okay, but I'm pretty dang sure. So I'm going to come here to report the variables and hope. No, okay, yeah, this is, oh look, this is the value. I just realized, and it's just a bunch of gibberish. Could I copy this somehow? Oh, cool. Is that really spaces though, or is it just some unrenderable text? It's mostly zeros, which means the buffer's been, it's just empty. Is there a way to, I want to treat it as like an integer, not just, okay, well current, oh, so tab at first, at 9. So if I come here, parse item, I'm just going to pay attention to the first few. Size of 1, tag 0, type 2, and the current character. Oh, now current. Okay, that's the current would be the one after that. So it would be 29. And if I repeat this, it was a tab at the start. Okay, I know what, I'm going to call that good enough. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to go back and again plug this in to my PC instead, because I want to grab the device info about this guy, and this time I'm going to use hid dump. I think it's just USB hid dump, and I have to use sudo. You can't see me type my password, so I'm going to type that. All right. I don't know which one it is. I should probably find that out. LSUSB. Hello, Nintendo for life. USB. All right. So 516. So I'll go back and hid dump again. 516. So here is the device descriptor, and I can already tell that this was the wrong one. This is not the data that I should have seen. So it's definitely not getting the report correctly. USB hid. No wait, USB. Oh gosh, what am I trying to find? USB parser. USB hid parser. There we go. Okay, I'm going to keep this up right here because this will be helpful if I actually manage to get. And actually, I could also, I can take this data. I can drop it in my main test here. So I already have that. This is the makey hid like report descriptor. So I'm gonna just make a new one. This is the N64 hid report descriptor. I probably should call it report descriptor. I'm gonna jump this into a separate tab really quick because I need to do find and replace and use a regular expression, just 2 words side by side, and then I'm gonna have to do a capture group on that, and I want to do hex capture group 1, comma, and there we go. So that formatted that, so I can just paste that in here. There. So I should be able to take this and then the test code here where I am parsing the elements. I'm just gonna actually drop in this one. It's gonna cause my tests to fail because I'm assuming I'm using the makey, but that's okay. I just need to get to this point line. So the cool thing about this, so in software development, I highly recommend you do tests because it makes it so you have like a controlled environment where you can verify your code works. And now in a situation like this, I'm able to run these tests using a much better development environment. It's just, anyway, so much better. But now I can see, okay, I expect 4 elements. That makes sense. Does it? Yeah, I think so. Actually, what it might have done, it might have made this D-pad a hat button, which I don't understand. So a hat button is one where it uses 4 bits. It uses 4 bits to store the direction on the D-pad. Where it says, okay, 1 is up, 1 and to the right is 2, right is 3, and so on. So you get 7 values going around the D-pad. And so you can represent all the directions as a number, right? But you can use those same 4 bits just to represent if the button's pressed or not in any direction. So I frankly don't understand the reason to even have a hat configuration at all when you can just you can use the same amount of information to just do like buttons, like a bit. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, so that's probably what's going on, why there's 4. I was expecting 2. But let's come here to the debug console, which I'm going to use GDB. I used to feel like, before I did a lot of C programming, I always felt like, having to learn commands in a debugger just seemed awful, but I don't know, it actually feels much more powerful than being stuck with just what the UI gives you. But now that I say that, I just noticed the UI actually will give me what I need, so I'm going to go with that. Are you working on your N64 connection? Yeah, I'm working on my N64 connection USB. I'm trying to get it to work with more devices, so I'll be able to, ideally, any controller that uses like standard protocols, you plug in and it'll just work. So, and I have a few controllers I want to use. I have a DDR pad that I was showing earlier on the stream. I got an N64 controller that's actually USB that I could use, but I have a makey. So if you've ever seen the guy beating Dark Souls with bananas, this is what he uses, and you can make your own controller, and I plan on using that, to play Donkey Kong 64, of course. Let me see. Do hat values make math simpler? In some cases, I suppose. But I feel like if you cared about that, like it's not hard to map between doing a hat and back. If it were simpler on the hardware level, I could see, you wanting to do it to simplify the hardware design. I don't know. Maybe somebody has a good reason for a hat, but I just don't know. All right, button array. That's what I expected. And so we have, button array. Oh no, that's not what I expected. Okay, so a button array, that's like a keyboard. So a keyboard, oh interesting, but it has like none. It's an empty keyboard or button array. So like the way the keyboard sends data, somebody mentioned Ben Eater, and he actually has a great video about this, but rather than sending the state of every individual key, it just says here are up to 5 keys that are currently down. And so it lets you more efficiently send information about lots of keys, but it also means you can only hold up to that many buttons down. So this next one, and again, a button array. and empty. Button array. Okay, something's wrong. This is why I have automated tests, because now I can repeat this scenario exactly. Because let me go back to what I expect from here. So here's what I expect. Here's what a proper parser shows. Then we'll zoom in to make it easier to see and make this bigger, because I might as well. All right, this is what I expect to see. So report size 8, so it's 8 bits per element, 5 elements, logical minimum 0, logical maximum 5. This looks like it's going to be a button map, an array, but no. XYZ, XYZZ, RZ. So it's sending 5 axes at once. I'm assuming that's the joystick will be sent through this, but we have 3 extra axes we don't actually need. Data var. Okay, so my parser might be choking on this. I don't think it should be, but that's why I'm testing it. So var just means it's actually a variable. Absolute means it's like a mouse is relative. Joysticks are absolute. Data, it's sending data. The rest of this stuff I don't think really matters. At least what I don't need it right now. Report size 4. So there's 4 of them. So there's 4 bits. Logical. Oh, here's the hat. Look at that. So report size 4. Report count 1. Logical maximum. So yeah. So physical. So logical maximum is like the largest number in like the encoding, like the data it sends. It can be. So logical maximum of 4 bits, that lines up. Physical maximum, what this refers to is degrees, so 315 degrees. So it's a hat switch. So I'm going to have to implement hat switches properly. I haven't done that yet. Hat switch, yay. So what that just says is this 4-bit value can be one of 7 numbers. Each number, or 8 numbers, because you can include 0. And every number corresponds to a direction. And anyway, so that's what's going on with the hat switch. Great. And then I have the rest of the buttons. So report size 1, so 1 bit per button. Report count, so up to 12 buttons. Logical maximum, physical maximum, so that makes sense. It could be a 1 or a 0. There are buttons, and it defines them all. And the last one, report size 1, 8 bits. So just another array of 8 buttons. I'm not sure why they don't just combine it with this one and have a report count of 20. Yeah. And then it has an output here. I'm guessing that this is just using a generic controller chip, which could explain the hat switch and why it has so many axes. That would exactly explain why it has so many axes. So this probably also lets you do like a rumble pack for output, but this controller, oh no, there's an adapter for that. So never mind, it possibly would work. So I'm catching up on chat. Sorry, I get sucked in. Well, bit shifting isn't very different between them. My knowledge of a hat can only have one direction at a time. Sure, that's true. So it does mean the hardware won't try to report like conflicting information. But if you just want to treat it like buttons, I guess, yeah. Can you plug the controller in the Windows to see the axes? Just to confirm what it was. I think I have, did I have the joystick? Yeah. No, that's an emoji. I swear I installed some sort of joystick software, and I did check this before. That's also emoji. Anybody know a good Ubuntu? Just put multiples of this data. Yeah, so one second. I could do JS test GJK. Cool. I'll try that. I'm assuming I can just app that. I'm just trusting. I'm sure this is fine. Oops, wrong one. GTK. Cool. Joystick test. Yeah, that makes sense. So there we go. So we got you. So I can open this, and then sure enough, it doesn't do anything. Is this the right one? Is there a different joystick? Yeah, I'm plugged in. Oh, it's this one. Wrong one. There we go. Yep, absolutely. There we are. Okay, yeah, this is why this controller is so bad. You can see how that is showing that I'm tilted all the way, but the controller still has more movement. It's way too sensitive. And so like when playing games, trying to use this, like you're trying to just even point or move just a little bit, like aim slightly in a direction, and it jumps all over. I definitely don't recommend this controller. Well, it's hard to know, like if you're buying a joystick, a USB controller that looks like N64. Yeah, reverse dead zone. It's hard. Oh, interesting. Here we go. So the D-pad there is that other, this bit here, the second axis. So it's the D-pad is actually a new, it's an axis. That's weird. So I don't think the hat's being used then. Huh. Yeah, another quicker they hate is the joystick being 8-directional like a D-pad. Right. So if it uses high-def encoders, that I don't know. But like, you know, a good N64 controller, when you try to play N64 games without like a crap controller, it just doesn't work right. And I know one thing about the N64 controller is it doesn't track motion like with a potentiometer, where it tries to measure like the voltage to know how far it's tilted. It actually uses like some sort of physical counting mechanism, so that way yeah, something about that. All right, so clearly though, I'm not parsing this correctly. I am getting the correct number of elements, which makes me question, is this right? No, because, okay, yeah, so I input type button array. That was not a button array. The first one, I need to go back and refresh my memory. The first one were the axes, so it should be an absolute. And I should be getting stuff in analog, but I'm not. So let's jump in. So here's the great part now about this automated test that I can run on my computer without needing to install it, is I can simply, if I can remember where I just was, test input. There we go. Just I undo and redo. I don't know if anybody else does that when they like forgot or they can't find where they just were. Just undo, it jumps you there, and you can redo. All right. Yeah, optical encoders, like old school. Yeah, like old school mouse. Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good comparison. All right, so we come here. So there are a few different types of data in a report or a USB report. I really am only interested in what are called the, I think, main and global. So things where it says like usage and collection and all of that, I just ignore it. I only look for telling me like the report count and size, logical minimum, maximum. I ignore physical minimum and maximum for now. I think as they make the more sophisticated, some of this might matter. And then I just look for these input rows. And so what it's basically saying is if you see an input, any of these report size and counts or anything you saw previously apply. So let's go. So Yes, global and main are the two I'm interested in. Local is the one I just ignore. So I'm just going to drop a breakpoint on both of these. And there we go. So the first global is one I just probably don't care about, maybe? Or that's the bug. Oh, interesting. So I've already hit a main. All right. No, something's up. Because these are just coming out. I keep hitting these mains, but then... Yeah, I think maybe this is not... Because again, am I even going to hit... I need... Where's the output index incremented? Right here. I should be hitting at least... There we go. So element stack, so it's not pushed anything. So yeah, it's all zeros. Okay, yeah, so something's up. Something's up. Let's just come to the very first time I hit this. The current is a 5. That is correct. It matches. In fact, I might put this side by side. Ooh, maybe not. Excuse me. All right. So it's a 5. Step over, it should be a size of 1 because it's 1 extra byte. The type is local. No, it's saying it's global. Okay, yeah, I think that is a global thing, but I just ignore that particular one. Okay, yeah, that's right. And then the next one, data. I'm going to make this window narrower. I only need to see the numbers. All right. So current already jumped to 0. Okay, that's wrong. Size, so I'm already wrong. Okay, that is probably what's going on then. Can we see the parser code? Okay, this is it. the one part you're not seeing is this parse hid parse item. So what it says, what the the USB spec specifies that these items, it starts with a single byte describing the information that's coming next, and encoded in that first byte, it has the size, it has the type that it is, it's either main, global, or local, and then it also has the tag, which is a 16-bit value. I can't remember what the tag's used for entirely. I guess it's additional information. It's like a subtype is what that does. But the size also includes additional bytes that come after that might be meaningful. So for example, like you say, I want to specify the usage page. So this is usage page 1. So that is what this step is parsing out. And so I've set up my code to, it's supposed to just parse one item at a time. So every line in this report should correspond to a call of this function. And every time it extracts the information it needs in order to reports or parse the report. And so one way that that works with the HID parser is there is a state that's kind of where all the variables are stored. So every time you call, for example, like a report size, report count, you are updating this state, and then every time you call this input, it uses what's in that state to generate part of the report structure, which lets you reuse the same report count and size if it happens to match between multiple input calls. Again, if it happens to. And this usage stuff, this is more detailed description about how it should be interpreted. It's kind of funny to me. There's two Z's here. I'm not entirely sure what that's about, but yeah, X, Y is just typically your joystick. X, Y, like joystick there. So you specify, you know, there are 5 inputs here. They're 8 bits long, and we have X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. I just noticed the logical minimum maximum, it goes from 0 to 255. So that probably means the joystick center state is like 128 rather than being center of 0 and going negative positive. If it were me, I would have made it go from negative 128 to 127, or negative 127 even. That just would be easier to interpret, but I can make that work. Actually, I think I designed my driver. It should actually handle that. So it should recognize that it doesn't go negative and put the center point in the middle of these two values. Hopefully. Anyway, what was I doing? Current. So, okay, so we're starting this over. So the very first one is 5. Let's just step in. We can step into this because I think this might be where my bug is. So the first 2 bits specify the size. Keep in mind, the value of 3 is actually 4 bytes. The type is in the next 2 bits after that, and then the tag is the next 4 bits. So I've done that. I step over that byte I just parsed, and then I say, okay, if size is 2. Okay, so this is a specific case. If these values all match this state, it's actually what's called a long entry, which can be much longer than 4 bytes. And so, but that's not the case here. And then it says, okay, if size is 3, meaning it is the largest, it actually is 4, but that's not the case here. So we're good here. We can say the current result equals current. Okay, this doesn't seem right. Current should not be, it should be a 1. Did I might have pasted my code in, or my data in wrong. No, that looks right to me. There's a 1 there, 9, 4, yeah, that all lines up. Parsing the HID. Try this one more time. All right. Parse HID parse item. So current. So I'm taking a pointer to a pointer, by the way. Kind of gross. I probably could come up with a better way. I wanted to be able to return a pointer to the start of the data. So I did that, which I don't actually use the data anywhere, I think. Oh no, right here, main bits. I use it. So, okay. So, going on. Okay, so report. So I dereference it. So a current is pointing to the 5. That's right. Step over. I feel like this should work because I have a test that verifies that it does. Current plus plus. Now current is pointing to. Oh my gosh, what's going on? You can come here to the console. So it is telling me that it's pointing to the first or the second byte in N64 HID descriptor. So I can just print that out and see. Yeah, what? The second byte's 1. Am I reading it wrong? Am I no. How do I do all this without music? Good question. I find that being able to explain things on stream is another good way to help keep me focused. But so actually, the streaming I think does help me. If I sit down and try to work on something, I'm finding that I can get myself very distracted, and so that's part of the reason why I kind of want to stream, is because it helps me. I think it helps me focus in some ways better. In other ways, I get distracted by chat, but I'm okay with that. I prefer JavaScript. You know, I don't mind JavaScript too much. It's actually, I code in it a lot for my job. I'm really enjoying C programming though. So I kind of want to, I kind of want to, like, I don't know. I enjoy C. So yeah, the current, it's telling me that makes no sense. Hold up. Okay, so if I say print off the second byte, it says 1. If I say print the address of this byte, it is okay. Yeah. No, I didn't specify a type. So it defaults to an integer. That would do it. So the next byte was 0 because it was an integer. All right. So it wasn't a bug with my parser. And so now, in fact, frankly, I'm going to, well, so we can step over this if you're interested in seeing. So it's global, the usage page. I didn't use that. That type, that would have been a local. So I ignore that. Another collection application. We should be at, tag is 8. Okay. Main, I shouldn't be hitting mains already. Okay, so this one should be report size coming up. There we go, report size. Okay, so I parse the integer from the data of report size. So report size is 8, so we'll see after I step over this, I can come here to element stack in the first one, and voila, report size is 8. Okay. Plus equals rather than plus plus. Yeah, I flip-flop on that one. You know, plus plus is shorter, but plus equals is like more languages have this, and so I figure like just for getting used to typing it one way, you know, plus equals, and then more people would be familiar with it. But I don't know. Of course, you can, you know, with plus equals, you get to do the fun like str copy, where something like what is it? How does it work? Something like destination dereference plus plus. Have you seen this before? Like this single line can copy a string in C. And so like because of the way this works, the plus plus increments the pointer, but only after it's been dereferenced and copied over. And then this while loop keeps going until it copies over a null character. So it will copy it, then after it copies it, it breaks the loop. So this is enough code to copy a C string. It's like great code golf, but it's a little opaque if you haven't seen what's going on. But yeah, no, I love C. I think that kind of stuff, like, it's fun. It's fun to actually, when you actually start getting into it and you know what you're doing. Anyway, it's about signaling intent. Yeah, I've discovered I don't care a lot about little things that are basically equivalent or good enough. I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here. It's like, or if, you know, if I'm doing a code review, I'm not gonna sit there and like get all pedantic about things. I'm just gonna be like, you know what, like if unless there's like an actual like coding style guide or something that's violating, I'm just like, if it does the job and it's not gonna cause me grief later, I don't care if it's plus equals or plus one or plus plus or whatever. So cool. Anyway, I think, okay, input type absolute. If I come here to analog, there's bit offset 0, bit size 8, element count 5. Okay, so my parser was nothing wrong with my parser. I was just trying to get to the bottom of. I feel like I've taken too long to do that. Input source absolute. This one was the hat. This is one that I think my HID parser actually wouldn't parse correctly, but I don't think the hat actually is used though, because it uses, I think the D-pad is what's the other axis, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. We'll find out. Okay, so we know that my parser is working, which means that it's very, very much the actually setting this it's in the actual sending of this data, the HID driver here. I'm gonna put back this error check is valid PID, because it should be getting back a PID of 0 or let me see. Let's find out what the value is. So I'm going to come back to, well, first of all, I need to plug the USB device back into the N64, which is being an excellent power source to my device here. All right, so plug that in. All right, so let's drop the debugger. We're going to come back to HID driver. HID driver, I'm going to come to where I actually try to retrieve the report, because this is, all right, so I'm going to start the debugger. You just rage quit your programming job. You know, I get it. Like, the number of times that you get like somebody coming with a requirement where they have the design of what they want you to make, what the customer says they want you to make, and then it's some sort of like, they have like one little detail. I was like, oh, well, they also asked for this, and they're tacking on as if it's just like a small ask, and you're thinking about this, and you're like, what you're actually asking for requires me to go and implement tons of infrastructure to support this one little thing that you think is a small detail, and having to constantly be battling that can be frustrating for sure. Oh, good morning, Pyrazine. All right. So now that I've hit this breakpoint, the next command I send, get report, should, on the USB is valid PID. And the next time I hit this breakpoint now, oh, is it just gonna keep hitting this? Okay. Oh, is invalid PID. But either way, so this is the USB send packet. Does it even get to this point? So I want send packet. All right. So PID should be a setup packet. That's expected. And then I don't know if stepping over the code that's supposed to send packets is going to cause, like, raise conditions that give different errors. Hope not. It's kind of the challenge with programming and hardware, is real world timing actually makes a difference, especially if you're dealing with multiple devices talking to each other. I guess timing always matters when debugging. It can be a pain. All right, I don't know what I'm looking for. I just wanted to make sure it was actually hitting this code, I suppose. All right. So, you know what? I'm going to put the breakpoint here and hit continue, and then see where that takes me. All right, so it's going to try to send again. And then why not? Why not? The breakpoint up here where I was experiencing, oh, okay. Let me, I have an extra breakpoint in USB connection up here. Yeah, I'll remove that one. And I can come back here to, what was it, HID driver? Yes. Run that. All right, error. Oh, it's a new error. It's BTOEF. Don't know what that one is. Been a while since I wrote that code. Who is somebody talking about? Oh yeah, I don't write comments. Yeah, sure. Not writing comments. I'm sure it'll never be a problem. I'll just have to read my code to figure out what I was doing, and instead of comments. Okay, this is odd because, well, this was working. Well, it was giving me a different error before, and now it's giving this error. Okay, I'm going to remove these breakpoints because I don't want to trigger these. USB device. I am getting close to being done, by the way. I was seriously hoping to be playing DDR right now or something, but that's how coding goes. BTFO. Yeah, I don't know what it means either. It's some sort of packet error, and I'd have to go and look up what it was. Yeah, why document my code? I know what I wrote. Okay. Okay, so I hit this point, and the error, I'm hoping to get the same error I had before, because that's what I was trying to debug. No. Well, new error. BTOEF. It's weird because I'm sending control transfers from the other, there's another part in my code I'm sending control transfers from. I'm just going to double check side by side that I'm doing the control transfers in the same way, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. So they're both, I need it in control transfer in, request type standard, recipient interface, that's right, get descriptor, and then backwards, I think, descriptor type device. Oh, I think I packed the bytes in the wrong order. I need to put that first. And then interface index, report size. If that's all it was, then, well, oh man, that's embarrassing. A Gesundheit. Anyway, if that's all that was, then this could just be working, assuming it's not actually using the hat. Well, if it's using the hat switch, I've actually implemented the ability to skip over input buttons. So like if you just don't want to map the D-pad, you can skip it. General exception handler. Okay. I probably should have checked the stack trace. It looks like there might be, well, I'm gonna put a breakpoint here and then run that and see if it hits this breakpoint. I'm so used to leaning in for a microphone. I have it attached to me right now. You can see this little guy. I can do ASMR. Actually, no, I can't. I'm not very good at it. I have no idea what I'd be doing. But if it hits this breakpoint and there's no error, then I know I fixed it, and then that crash was probably something later that was happening somewhere else in the code. So variables, I wish I had a better setup here. None, no error. So I'm gonna come down here, parse report. Okay, so it's having the exception in my HID parser. So there's a chance, so this is the downside with the way I did my tests, is I'm not running my tests on the same architecture. They're both using the same endianness, but, okay. Where's my call stack? Because that will hopefully, no call stack. Exception code, exception address. I don't think that'll tell me a whole lot. All right, well, I'm gonna have to step over and find out what's going on. But hey, that's good though, right? Let me see if maybe it's not even crashing in the parser. Maybe it's something before, because the parser has been tested. Okay, always takes longer than you expect, right? I was thinking, oh yeah, I'll be in 30 minutes, I'll have it working, and then I'll just be playing with controllers and trying out different things. Then it'll be so fun. And well, not what's happening. All right. So I'm gonna hit continue. If it crashes, that's good, because it means, oh, it's my parser. All right, I'm gonna see if descriptor buffer is what, let me see if it'll, at least this thing kind of is somewhat smart about knowing what what data I want to look at. So report size, it's saying it is 65 in hex bytes. Is that right? How long is this? I don't want to count that. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are all 16. 5. There we go. So that's 65 in hexadecimal. So yes, that is the correct size. Descriptor buffer. See, the thing about that is it doesn't really want to tell me the value. Yeah, see, doesn't want to tell me. So I'm just going to have to jump into the same code I was debugging before, but with the slower debugger. But at least I know what to expect now, right? So current should be, yeah, 9. All right. Okay, so this is already kind of going ish. Well, let me scroll down here, and I'm gonna. There we go. So tag type size. I'm just gonna be looking. I know you can't read this data. I apologize, but I'm just gonna have to go through. So the type was global. Oh no, I'm gonna have to use this little drop down. That's probably a hotkey I can use to go to the next. Current. Okay, yeah, that's right. How many times do I push this? Do I? Okay, yeah, because end. No, I got the right length. 1A. 7.5. Yeah, let me just check. F5. I'll use buttons on my keyboard. 9.5. 15. This is going to be slow. I mean, it has to send the debugging information over a wire to a physical device, so it makes sense. But I still don't like that it's slow. Okay, 4.6. This is where this report size is. Oh, look at that. A crash. So what was that? It was on 1.5 right here. I wish I was paying closer attention, but I guess I am starting this thing over. Stop. All right, I think, okay. I'm gonna have to stop streaming here soon, but I want to try to get this fixed before. I feel like I'm close, right? I found where it crashed. I hope. See you, Jay. Thanks for the luck. All right. I don't need that breakpoint. F5. Current. Okay, where was my variables? All right, it was when current, I think it was 1.5 there is when it crashed. I was expecting 2.6 to show up and it didn't. No, it was after that. I don't know. Either way, I'll pay closer attention because I at least know where this should be crashing. And it might be something with like this, the hardware difference here, right where in my test code I was able to parse this no problem, but for some reason the hardware difference made this not quite work. Okay, and step over is F8. Okay. I learned these hotkeys once before. Okay. Global type, element index is 0, read int, data, the size. What's the size? Size is 1. That's expected. Okay, this is actually good to know that it's on the report count because I could put a breakpoint there and skip to right before the crash. So I don't need to do this. Okay, so current is pointing at 1.5. Is this where it crashed last time? No. Okay, so now current should be pointing at 2.6, but we just parsed this bit right here. So, all right, logical minimum, read integer. Crash? Okay, no crash. So is it going to be in the parsing of this? Okay, I'm going to step in. I feel like it's got to be in this because I was looking specifically for this point. Like when we got past this, I wanted to check the size, and I think that's when it crashed. So we're stepping in, which I need to remember. There we go. Step in, step over. All right. Come on. Okay, that should just step over that. It's of size 2. It should step over this. Okay. No crash. Port pointer, current. I must have missed it. It must be then coming now. So I don't even know what this is going to be. This is a global type that logical maximum. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Oh, this might be the problem because it's size of 2. Just step over. Crash, please? Yes. Okay. That's going to be really easy to track down now. I can just come to my HID parser, remove the breakpoints I have now. I don't need those. I can just come to the report parser, and why is that drop down? There we go. Logical maximum. It's this part that crashed. So I can do the debugger there. All right. Have a good one, John Aleko. Probably said that wrong. Good night. All right. Yeah, I hope I can finish, and with at least fixing this. You know, what's going to happen is I'm going to fix this, and then afterwards I'm going to realize that there's one more bug behind that I need to fix. Like, you know, like how that goes. Oh, I hit the breakpoint. So now I want to step in. And okay. Size. Could it be an alignment issue? Could be. But why wouldn't, if it's an alignment issue, Oh yeah, totally alignment could be a problem. But why wouldn't that the same alignment issue should have caused a crash on my PC too? Let's find out though. If I do step over, this is a size 2, the buffer, the pointer, no. The pointer does not, the pointer points to, it's aligned, but that will be something. Although I could have sworn I checked alignment, like this microcontroller actually works just fine with unaligned data. So I don't think that's the problem. But what else could it be? So the value, so if I dereference buffer, FF, that's fine. Is it gonna let me? So here's the thing, I'm not an expert in this IDE. I want to be able to deref, like watch something, or but yeah, this has got to be it though. This line, I cast to a buffer. The fact that I cast the const away it shouldn't matter. And then I dereference it, and that's, I'm assuming if I push this button to step over, that's when we crash. Okay. Oh, look at this. Gen exception. Just general exception. It's not I'm wondering if I can at least extract the exception code. Please? Please? Probably got optimized out, right? Okay, no, 4. Exception code 4. I don't know what that means. That would tell me a little more, though. Exception code of 4. Exceptions.c. Oh, look at this. Address error exception. Okay. Maybe it is a problem with... So if that's the case, then really what I should do... Have that go away. I should import memory.h, already imported. And then I have a... what I should do is mem copy. Why can't I remember? It's the destination first. That's right. Okay. Mem copy into the short here from the buffer 2 bytes and then return result. And then same thing here with 4, only an integer instead. So that will hopefully resolve that. Let's drop a breakpoint here just to be sure. Fingers crossed. Okay, well I thought the alignment wouldn't be an issue. I guess it was, just assume it will be. That's weird. I could have sworn I tested that, but that's all right. Cool trick though, by the way. If you come here to, if you define your structures as packed, it won't align things and it'll pack it tightly, but then the compiler will safely access the memory for you. All right, so step over, hey, and this number should be 256. And so if I step over again, okay, okay, and now if I run, output index should be 4, okay, output index 4, step one more time, and then I just want to check these elements. Element 0, that'll work. Input source, the type is absolute, and then analog we have bit size of 4. Okay, that seems to have parsed correctly. So if I just continue double check that my N64, oh, another exception. That makes me sad. Do I want to try to debug this, or do I call it a night? I at least want to see where it crashed, if I can help it. This is probably just one more, right? Just one more. Okay, we're going to stop. I'm going to come here to element count. Okay, so this is the problem with testing not on the real hardware. But I still stand by doing as much testing as I could without having to connect to hardware, because it lets me work much more freely with just a laptop, whereas having to set up all of this to just debug things. Yeah, I'm going to keep this up though. I'm going to have to debug this hopefully before Saturday, or push back the recording date, which will just be fine. Okay, so we've got that. I've already mixed up my hotkeys. Step over is F8. So the hid descriptor init worked. Okay, so it's probably the interrupt finish then. So if I were to come here to handle the report, no, the crash happened otherwise. Exception address, I mean, I can look at the exception address. I'm wondering, 9D, yeah, see, I know that there's got to be a way I can look up a symbol based on the address. I just don't know how to do it in this environment. If I just say, claim this is a void pointer, I don't think that'll work. I don't think it lets me choose the type of what I want it to, yeah. All right, I'll have to debug this later, but I think I'm going to call it here. So thank you all who are watching, and hope you enjoyed. But yeah, you have a good rest of your night.